Greetings Duelist and welcome to another video. So we're going to keep preparing for Dune. This is the finals of the Duelist Cup. If you remember already, I already showcased a few duels from this. We have Lin Yu-jun, as if you remember, he was playing Purrely, and his opponent is Satananta Tana. Long tongue twister, and he's playing Adventure Synchron. So Adventure Synchron, for those who don't know, is basically a super heavy combo deck that revolves around synchro summoning multiple times. Something that to take note, as always, I'm going to always use this as a disclaimer. When it comes to OCG duels, they have cards that we do not, and a really important one that really decides the factor of this game is Maxi. As you can see, Lin Yu had Maxi. He opened it, which is going to make Rangno I just gotta say the Adventure Synchron player. It's gonna make him and his plays be more and more decisive, because he doesn't want to give the opponent too many cards. So something to note, when it comes to the adventure engine, Wandering Griffin Rider is forbidden. So that's a tool that we do have that they do not. That's why you see him adding Illegal Knight. Another important thing about Illegal Knight is that it is another defensive card. If he has to end his turn, because when it comes to Maxi, you don't want to give him too many cards, especially when it comes to Purrely. Purrely is known for knowing how to break boards, going second, exhausting their resources, and it's just gonna make it more and more problematic if you do give them more cards. So the Synchron player already knows this, so he tries to gain as much advantage as possible, but at the same time not give them too many cards. He's trying to use the Magician Souls in order to draw two. Lin immediately responds with Ash Blossom, which is, I think, is the correct move, because the Synchron player is in a really tight spot. His only defensive card is Illegal Knight, and Lin wants to make sure he doesn't get to more cards besides that one. Lin pretty much is fine with him adding Illegal Knight. That's why he didn't Ash Blossom the Faithful Adventure. So now it's Lin's turn. Lin tries to do Pretty Memory. The Synchron player is trying to respond. He's responding with Maxi, and Lin has another copy of Ash Blossom. So in the OCG, this interaction happens a lot. Like between Ash Blossom, Cold by the Grave, and Crossout Designator, you'll see that those cards are in almost every list, because Maxi is just that overwhelming in the format, and they just need ways to combat it if they're playing a combo deck. So Lin's resolving my friend Purrely. He's going to pay 5. He's most likely going to reveal Sleepy Memory. He's contemplating on options, but he's just making sure that he recognizes all his resources. I guess another one he can grab is Happy Memory, since he is going second. I was pretty much thinking that it was still the first turn, but it is the second turn. If you go first, you go for Sleepy Memory. If you go second, you go for Happy Memory, because Lin already knows that the only interruption he has to worry about is the Illegal Knight, and if he can play through that, he's just going to win the game. Lin is trying to do Pure Lily's effect to turn it into Plump. The Synchron opponent responds with Illegal Knight. So Plump hits the board. Now what's most likely going to happen is that the plump is going to equip the pretty memory as well as the rate of Armasier. The Synchron opponent responds, he gives them Illegal Knight. And now Lin has little to worry about. There are only 2 cards in the Synchron player's hand. It's most likely not many interruptions, and that's the end of the game. Pretty much that's the end, because Lin will probably just look at his hand, and after that happens, he can easily just resolve the happy memory. Now we're going to game 2, and this is going to be important because now we're going to see how the Synchron deck operates. The whole point of me recording this duel is for you to understand about this deck and see how it works, because this deck does get new support in Duelist Nexus, and the new support is stuff that really helps this deck operate. So he's starting out with Small World. Small World will reveal draw into Enchantress into Stardust Synchron. The Water Enchantress is a spellcaster, and the Stardust Synchron has 1500 attack. That is the bridge between all the 3 cards. He now summons the Stardust Synchron. He's triggering his normal summon effect, which already tells you that he's not going to be able to play his Adventure Engine on this specific game. He grabs Illumination. Illumination will make it so he can send another Stardust Synchron. So that's exactly what happens. He sends the second Stardust Synchron. He now tags Stardust Synchron into the one into the graveyard. They chaining Lin is chaining Maxi. He chains the Ash Blossom. The reason he tributed the Stardust Synchron in grave is because he can summon the other Stardust. I'm forgetting her name. I think it's Stardust Trail. And Trail special summon himself if a monster is tributed. So now he's going to Synchro 8. They both get banished because they both used their effects. And this is one card we don't have in the TCG. This is Chaos Ruler. Chaos Ruler is super important here because it will tutor him more cards. And the cards he will tutor him are probably going to just move his engine. As you can see there, he gets access to start Assault Synchron. Adding to that, he milled a Jet Synchron. I can already see it in his graveyard. So that's going to amass more advantage. He also milled Water Enchantress, which is going to get him the right. He cannot activate the right this turn, but it's just more card advantage. That is basically gained for free. So now Rung is going to summon Assault Synchron. Lin is pretty much just reading what it does. We already know about this card because of Battles of Legend. He's going to synchro them both into the Bestial Dissipator. Dissipator is going to bring back the Trial from the Banished. And now he discards a card for Jet Synchron. And now we're going to see one of the playmakers of the deck, which is Junk Speeder. You can see the smile on Lin's face. That pretty much telegraphs that he's gonna let all of this resolve. So I'm going to pause right here. Right here we have another new card from DUNE, which is the Revolution Synchron. For those who don't know what this does, basically if you control if you're going to synchro for a level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster, you can use this card from your hand as material. The second effect is if you control a synchro monster, you can special summon it back from the grave, mill 1 card, and its level become 1. So 2 really powerful effects. Essentially this is just going to be like another really strong extender. We already know about Assault Synchron and Jet Synchron. So Chaos Ruler is a big deal, but at the end of the day, we still have ways to play without the Chaos Ruler. We have Axel Stardust, for example. We have Black Feather Dragon. We have Ancient Fairy Dragon. We have Crystal Wind Synchro Dragon. There is a myriad of options. So Rung is now going to synchro with the power, with the Revolution Synchron. He's going to make Axel. We're pretty much going to have Axel summon the Assault Synchron back from graveyard. And now, if I'm not mistaken, Rung is going to play. Rung is going to make the play that this deck is known for. He's pretty much checking his options, but he's trying to make sure that everything's alright. So yep, he's now doing the effect. Basically, it's going to tribute itself to special summon Stardust Dragon, and that will make it so he can summon Baron. And since a Synchro Dragon was tributed, he can use Assault Synchron's effect and bring back the Stardust Dragon. Take note that the Baron is unaffected. He's using Illumination to change the level of the Stardust Assault. The Axel, it became level 7, and now Cypher Lord Omega is just going to snipe a card out of his hand. So Lin is pretty much not going to win this game, because now what's going to happen is Rung is going to banish for Chaos Ruler. This is something we cannot do in the OCG. We cannot bring back Chaos Ruler, and we cannot make Hot Red. But pretty much the Hot Red is not really super necessary, because Lin has 2 cards in hand, 3 for turn, and he has to deal with the Baron, the Hot Red, and the Disbatter. So as soon as Rung just contests to this Purrely, it's just going to be writing on the wall. Purrely cannot do very well with very minimal resources. And now we're going to game 3. So you pretty much saw what the Synchron deck can do. Here in the TCG is going to be slightly different because we don't have Chaos Ruler. But everything else that the deck did is stuff that we can do here in the TCG. So now we're going to game 3. Lin is going to go first. He's going to Purrely into my friend Purrely. That's going to reveal 3 Sleepy Memories. And if you remember the last duel I recorded involving Purrely, you can pretty much tell that this is just going to turn into a going first strategy. So now he reveals the Sleepy Memory. He's going to summon Purrely. The Purrely will trigger. That will grab it the Pretty Memory. And now Lin is in a really good spot, because now he can tag into the E-Purrely Noir. He can activate the Pretty Memory from hand, and that's going to make the E-Purrely Noir gain another material. He's activating Delicious Mary. He's doing the Noir. He's going to set Purrely Yip. And he's going to summon another Purrely. That Purrely will pretty much reveal 3. And he grabs a second Sleepy Memory. That's really strong, because now what's going to happen is that the E-Purrely is going to have 2 Sleepy Memories. And with the Purrely Yip set in his back row, Lin is going to be able to draw up to 4 cards on Rung's turn. So Lin is going to set another card, and now as soon as the standby phase enters, he's going to do Noir, draw 2. He's going to do Pretty Memory to give it an extra material. The reason he's doing that is because now that the Noir that he'll summon will have enough materials to make it unaffected by card effects and be able to contest the board multiple times. Rung responds with Enchantress. Lin lets it go through. He grabs the right. Right activates. He'll summon a token. And he'll activate from his deck the Faithful Adventure. Lin activates the Lyrilusk, and Wrong conceits. So things to take note of. You'll be seeing this a lot. The Purrely player pretty much did a very standard play that you will see in the opening hand. Basically, Wrong is showing him that he has no real answers for the Noir nor the Lyrilusk. So basically, you're pretty much forced to play non-engine or hand traps to prevent this from happening. So yeah, I hope you guys found this informative. The whole point behind this match is not just to show you the finals, because take important note, both these players are going to Worlds. So they'll be playing on the Worlds ban list. I think Wrong is in a favorable position because there are less hits to the Synchron deck for Worlds than it is for Purrely. If Lin decides to play the Purrely strategy, he'll have to contest with the fact that he only has one copy of Sleepy Memory and one copy of Delicious Memory. While Wrong pretty much has to deal with the fact that there is no Griffin Rider and no Chaos Ruler. And no Revolution Synchron, which is probably going to be big because Revolution Synchron won't be legal for the TCG until that weekend, and the Worlds list has already been established by that point that event takes place. But yeah, I hope you guys found this very informative. Stay tuned for more involving Dune very soon. Keep practicing and keep dueling.